I'm the eldest daughter of the late Professor Ambrose Folomshaw, come from Ekoma in Edo State. In 1983, 31st December, there was a directive from Major General Mohammed Buhari to tell all the civilian governors, presidents, civilian governors, ministers, all to report to the nearest police station. 31st of December 1983, which my father did, obeyed. With the French suit he put on, he walked to the Ekoma police station. 31st of December, thereabouts, he was taken to Benin. From Benin, he was taken to Lagos. Got to Lagos. He was kept on detention for several months, almost a year without trial. He was in detention, he took ill. And my father was partially blind. I was not allowed to bring doctor for him. I was not allowed to bring doctor for him to be treated. My father was #1 victim in the process. Up to now, I don't know the reason why he was #1 victim. Because of the ill treatment he was given, the injustice he was given, and he was not given fair trial. Okay, my father was the first civilian governor of the former Bende State, Professor Ambrose Folomshaw. He now took him. They were not tried. He was there. He was denied treatment. They were denied of seeing him, and he partially went blind there. And when Mr. Adeyemo was asked, and by the time they said they started taking statements from there, one late Chief Adeyemi is dead now, under his panic. He came in, he made a statement, and they were not satisfied with the statement because they wanted to group my father in by all means. And I don't know the reason why.
So in the end, did they find him guilty, or what was the ruling of the...
Yeah, he had 3 judgments and he was found guilty. Out of the 3 judgments, the first judgment he was given 200 years.
Were you able to be in the court when that happened?
When the first judgment was given, I was not in the court. I was not allowed in. That was given in Mokola, Ibadan.
What was the crime, alleged crime?
No crime.
They just sentenced him for 200 years for...
Yes, even 400 years.
But they didn't mention why.
No, the one the Chief Adeyemi came in, they said 10% kickback, and the man said no. That in all the UPN states then, that it was Bende State that he got the highest contract, and that he was going to support when the re-election comes up. And that's exactly what he did. He brought 983,000 naira in 50 kobos and all. And my dad called one pa Olu Onobaifo, that one is late now, gave the money to him, said he should share it for those people contesting for House of Assembly, National Assembly, and Senate. That is all his support as well. But when my father was detained, Chief Adeyemo said exactly the same thing, that it was not kickback. He only came to support the party with it. And they said no, that he has to root in my father. He has to say it's kickback. And that was the money that Chief Esama Igbedejo paid by the time my father was given conditional release in 1984.
So the
in 1988.
Okay, so so he got this sentence, this outrageous sentence, and then what happens next?
After the sentence?
Yeah, he obviously went to jail for some time.
Yes, he was in jail from 1983, 31st December to February 1980. He was released February 13th, 1988.
So it was about 5 years in jail. What did he say after he was released? He must have been angry about what happened.
No, I'm angry myself. That's why I'm asking Nigerians not to vote for Buhari.
But what did your father say when he was released?
Sorry?
What did your father say when he was released?
What will he say? He was crying now.
Yeah.
He cried.
And
he cried and he said he didn't really know why he was jailed.
Right.
For no reason. He was maltreated. My father was hale and healthy before he became a governor, even before he walked into the prison. And as soon as he came, just only a year, he passed on.
Really?
Yes, because he couldn't stand it. So the man Buhari killed my daddy. Because he was not capable, that was why BB took over from him. He can't rule the government. He has no forgiving spirit.
People who are voting in this election, do you think they know this history?
Many knows.
Yeah.
Because even in Edo State, they say that Edo Delta, that's one of the slogans that he killed daddy. And this is the time to pay him back for the misdeed he did to my daddy. He obstructed our democracy.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he wants to come back to the democracy now.
What do you think would happen if he won, hypothetically?
He can't win.
But if he did?
He will never. My father's spirit and other spirit will not allow him to win.
And what do you think about President Jonathan?
I think the man is doing well. We Nigerians were too in a hurry to know, to want, whether because we got our independence on the platter of gold. I don't really know. They just want something immediate. The man is doing something. What he's doing now, we might not understand. Even if he comes back the second time, except somebody else again, take over from where he's stopping. Maybe in order the second tenure of that person will now start reaping it gradually. Because he's a Democrat.
Yeah.
That man is a military man, and everything about him is just military. So I don't think he knows.
Buhari, you're talking about?
Yes, Buhari. I don't think he knows so much about democracy.
Right.
Because this is the government of the government and the government of the people by the people. So somebody who couldn't rule successfully in the military regime, I don't see what he's now coming to do. In short, I don't know why he wants to come back. First, second, third, fourth. I don't know what he's looking for. Those people are clamoring for him, and if they have a rethink, they shouldn't say Buhari should come back. Because he was there before. He couldn't do anything. That's why somebody else overtoppled his government. And he's talking about corruption, he's going to wipe up corruption. I don't know. During his tenure, that was when 53 suitcases happened. During his tenure, as I was going about my father's incarceration, girlfriends' name were on the list. The corruption in Nigeria is not Jonathan that will do it alone.
Why are you so eager to tell your story now? Because it's been many years, right?
I've always been asking, having my story. Anytime he's contesting, I say no, he cannot be.
And then you explain what happened to your father.
Yes.
For many years you've been telling this story.
Yes, it's not just starting now.
Yeah.
Anytime he's on board, I share leaflets. Well, me, I'm not praying for violence to happen. I'm not praying for any bad thing. But I know the utterances that the man first made during Jonathan's era, that he made the government ungovernable for him. And ever since, the country has not been stable. And the man is still trying his best.
What do you think would happen? I mean, I know you don't think that Buhari would win. But if say the results come in and he does, what would happen to Nigeria?
I don't want to hear that. He will never win.
You can't even.
He can never win. The souls that the man has taken will never allow him to win. Because he's not a genuine man.
Right.
He doesn't know anything about Nigeria. He cannot rule Nigeria. All those gimmicks he's talking about, he can't come and do it overnight.
Right. Because
he doesn't know anything about democratic government. IBB came on board, and they set up another panel headed by Justice Mohammed Bello. Because all the first one they set up was all made of army. It was kangaroo court. This one was a little bit modified because a learned man came on board with the military people. So he was now reviewing it. Reviewed the case of security, and they asked them to define security. Security does not have definition. And money spent for security is security. So it was on this 983,000 naira that the man dwelled on. So that was it.
Well, I mean,
and he was talking about a military tribunal. They use the military tribunal to jail these political, persons, people who are political offices. They were not regular court. These tribunals were headed by military officers, and they have ousted the jurisdiction of the court. They were now ruling by outer clauses with decrees. And the major issue of a developed economy is that people are brought to court to answer for offenses that are known to the law, not the retrogressive law. Instead, you have situations where offenses that were not punishable when they were committed became punishable because they created those laws, and they put people to utter misery. Imagine putting someone 200 years. I mean, they were not offensive. Known to law in Nigeria, that you can be punished for 200 years for.
My father was a victim.
Yes.
He was number one victim. My father was number one victim.
but I just wonder why you think he was the number one victim.
I don't know. I don't know.
What do you think, Jefferson?
I don't know why. There must be something, because even when the first tribunal led by Colonel Yaya Madaki, he was still insulting my dad there. When he said, what, do you have any plea to say? My father said no. But there are three judgments. The one from God, the one from the people, and your own judgment. The man was not happy. Was still after my dad.
I believe this guy not to make a sample with people who are very high profile, image. When you bring the good man down, you terrify the society. The game plan was to strike at a very popular person and then create tension in the heart of the civilian populace to show that this was a serious government, and they met business.
So they sort of made an example out of him.
Yes, basically to stick on the, strike the person who has that kind of integrity and that kind of exposure. And you can imagine what it looks like on the man, the impression, the image that we create on the person on the street if such a high person with that kind of high resume and no evidence of misconduct
means that anyone can get arrested for.
It means that you're not safe. You can be going down.
Do you think that Buhari has changed since then? Maybe he's a better man? You think that's possible?
No.
Same guy.
At what stage do you think a dog learned a new trick?
So you think if he did win, it would be the same sort of campaign, the same sort of leadership that we saw back then?
You don't know a man until he has power. And if you give a man who is intellectually challenged and mentally very unstable power, political power, you are endangering the society. What we are talking about here is power. Power that determines the life of people. Power that makes white black, black white. And you do not give to somebody or the person or a group of persons who do not appreciate power for the purpose of development, but acquisition of power for personal aggrandizement, for prebendal interest, clientelism.
That's why Buhari is running, you think?
It represents a very dangerous, trait in our politics here. That's basically. And when people like that come in, they are coming with a lot of vindictiveness. They are coming with a lot of anger. They are coming with a lot of revenge. They feel very messianic. I ought to be the person to do this. I was stopped, and so I'm going to get a second chance to do it. And nobody will stop my way. And I can assure you, the consequences of his return will be very, very, very deep.
What do you mean?
There are divisive characters who turn the society upside down. And I assure you, the consequences of having the likes of Buhari on the ticket in government here will create a lot of imbalance that will be very negative for sub-regional politics, for international relations, and to a large extent, the general international relationship will likely not be the same.
Do you think Buhari is seen as a civilian leader at this point, or he'll always be seen as a military leader? Because it's been many years, obviously.
We have seen instances where somebody who had had military experience become, subservient to, the political process and try to manage, the democratic process. But go and check how the channel end up. They led disgracefully. Because there's still something inherent in a military subculture that is anti-democratic.
Okay, well, Honorable Chief, maybe I'll let you have the last word here. And is there anything else that you want to say about this election and what it means to you personally?
The election that's coming up on the 28th, which is around the corner, is very important that everybody go out to vote for their PVC to elect who governs them, a credible and democratic president on 28th March 2015.
Well, thank you both so much. I really appreciate it. I think what I'd really like to do is start just by kind of getting some background from you about your story. I mean, from what I understand, one of your relatives was affected under the regime of Buhari, but I don't really know the details. So if you can just tell me sort of what happened, a bit of the context.
Okay. So my name is Adil Amrali. My father was Professor Ambrose Ali, and that's with two L's, A-L-L-I. And he was the executive governor of what was then Bengal State in Nigeria in the Second Republic between 1979 and 1980. He was a member of the then Progressive Party of Nigeria, member of the Unity Party of Nigeria. And I think it's fair to say that my father is renowned for being perhaps the foremost educator in Nigeria. When he was governor of Bengal State is now Edo and Delta State, just to give it some context. And when he was governor of Bengal State, 4 years, he built over 1,000 schools, about 6 institutes of higher education, including universities. Also, did a lot in growth development, a lot in housing, and provided free healthcare, and all the stuff that was in the manifesto of the Unity Party of Nigeria. He lost the 1983 election, although there is there was some controversy as to whether he lost or not, whether the elections were actually free and fair ballot. And after the Muhammad Buhari in power, like all political actors above a certain level, he was detained. He was detained under Decree Number 2, 1984, which was published on the 1st of January 1984, and on that the decree was about the recovery of public property. But that was tried 3 times under this decree and under 3 degrees. So it's tried under Decree 2, Decree Number 8, and Decree Number 4. He was tried with corrupt enrichment himself for the first time, and found guilty. He was then tried again for corrupting his associates. He was found not guilty. The dictatorship of what it was then instituted Decree Number 14, which made it an assessment, which was a retroactive decree, which made it an assessment to accept and make changes. And he was sentenced to, I believe he was sentenced to 120 years initially, and then it was reduced to 20 years. My dad's political legacy, I think it's important to say, this does give it context. My dad was also the person that established derivation of co-revenue at the constitutional principle in Nigeria.
So what did you think, I mean, when you first heard that Buhari was running again this time, what was the first thing that crossed your mind?
Winston Churchill said something once, that some men change their parties to suit their principles, and some men change their principles to suit their party.
Right.
So,
And obviously, I mean, according to the polls, it seems like it's rather close. It's hard to know exactly where things stand. But why do you think, I mean, given his track record, which is obviously public at this point to a large degree, why do you think it's still so close?
The line is still there. The reason it's close is there are several factors. One, certainly, ironically enough, is probably the freedom of information and the freedom of speech which we enjoy in Nigeria right now. Again, it is an irony that Buhari was someone trampled all over freedom of speech and the rule of law. So why it's close. I mean, look, Nigeria is a country that's set by multiple problems. I think psychologically, we like people shout at us, and we're enamored by the idea of beneficent dictatorship. Although every dictatorship will try to turn out the level. So there is a yearning in Nigeria for things to move in a particular direction. But I think Nigerians are not people who are want steady progress. We want enthusiasm, as we call it in Nigeria. We want the show. And I think Buhari has created a very interesting narrative. I think, yes, he said that his record